Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering lake lived a poor woodcutter with his 3 clever sons, Arthur, Martin, and Luke. Their mother, Sarah, was the kindest soul, always tending to the sick and filling their home with warmth and joy. But as time went on, Sarah grew weaker. Knowing her end was near, she called her sons to her bedside. "My dearest boys," she whispered, "I won't be with you much longer. When that time comes, your father will marry again, but you must remember, no matter what, I love you." And with that, Sarah peacefully closed her eyes, leaving her sons and her husband lost in their grief. Robert tried his best to be a strong pillar for his sons, but he soon met Evelyn, a beautiful woman who filled his heart with warmth once more. Within a year, they were married, but little did the brothers know, their stepmother only wanted them out of the way. Every day she complained to their father about how unruly the boys were, hoping he'd send them away. But Robert refused, until one night when Evelyn came up with a wicked plan. As the full moon hung high in the sky, she told the boys, "Tomorrow, we're going on a special trip. You'll need to pack some food and be ready early." Suspicious, but excited, the brothers followed their father and stepmother into the deep forest. Evelyn had packed a bag with enough food for herself and Robert, but nothing for the boys. She had planned this meticulously, knowing the forest's dangers would deal with the rest. Blindfolding them, she led the boys deep into the woods, then handed each a small pouch. "Here," she said, "throw a pebble in when you want me to stop." Then she set off into the trees, leaving the boys alone in the darkening woods. Arthur looked at his brothers, a mix of fear and determination on their faces. He knew this was serious. As the sun began its descent, they started following the path. All was silent, except for the rustling leaves, until suddenly, "Stop!" cried Martin. "I can't go on! I'm scared!" Sobbing, he threw a pebble into the air and watched it disappear into the bushes. Comforting his brother, Arthur whispered, "Don't worry, we'll find our way back." He took a deep breath, picked up a white pebble, and strolled forward, dropping the stone beside the path. Following the sound, Evelyn turned around and noticed the white pebbles. Her eyes widened in realization. These weren't like regular stones. They were pebbles she and Robert had collected as souvenirs from their secret trips to the lake. Panic surged through her. The boys knew the forest like the back of their hands. There was still time, but she had to hurry. Quickly, she ran deeper into the woods, her heart pounding against her ribs. Meanwhile, the brothers continued their journey home. With each step, Arthur placed another white pebble, creating a trail. Suddenly, Martin cried out, "Stop! I can't go any further! I'm scared!" Arthur and Luke supported him, reminding him they'd be home soon. As the last rays of sunlight faded away, they reached the edge of the forest, and there, stretching before them, was the familiar road leading to their home. Relieved, they started their final walk, hand in hand, their steps echoing in the stillness of the twilight. Just as they neared their house, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Robert, his face etched with worry as he rushed toward them. "You're back!" he exclaimed, relief washing over his features. But his eyes fell on the untouched food bags the boys carried. Confusion clouded his face. "Why didn't you eat?" he asked, his voice laced with concern. That's when Martin, overcome with emotion, burst into tears. He recounted Evelyn's deception, the hunger, the fear, and their journey back. Robert listened intently, his expression darkening with each detail. When the boys finished, he turned, his eyes blazing with anger, and strode toward the forest. The brothers exchanged worried glances. What would he do? Would he come back with Evelyn, blaming them for causing trouble? As if sensing their fear, Robert returned quickly, but not alone. With him was Evelyn, her head down in shame. Robert's grip on her shoulder was tight, his eyes boring into hers. "Explain," he demanded, his voice shaking with barely suppressed fury. "Why you brought the boys to this part of the forest with the intention of leaving them here all night?" Tears streamed down Evelyn's face as she confessed everything. The lies, the manipulation, her desire to get rid of the boys so she could live only for herself and Robert. A hush fell over the clearing as she spoke, her voice trembling. The brothers stood there, their young hearts heavy with the weight of their stepmother's betrayal. Robert's face was thunderous. Words of pure venom flowed from his lips as he cursed her for her actions. But it was the hurt in his eyes, the shattering of trust that cut deepest of all. "How could you?" he whispered, his voice hoarse with disbelief. "After all we've shared, all the promises we made, how could you do this?" His words echoed the sentiments of his sons, each syllable dripping with the pain of betrayal. With that, Robert shoved Evelyn away from him, his face ashen and drawn. In a voice that shook with controlled fury, he uttered, "Leave. Don't ever darken our doorstep again." Evelyn, her shoulders slumped in defeat, turned and fled, her sobs mingling with the rustle of the leaves. She ran blindly through the forest, the darkness enveloping her like a shroud. She didn't know where she was going, didn't care. All she felt was the consuming ache of her shattered plans and the dawning realization of her utter loneliness. As she disappeared into the gloom, Robert turned back to his sons, his face now etched with remorse. The anger was gone, replaced by a profound sadness and a fierce protectiveness toward his boys. Kneeling down to their level, he pulled them into the warmest embrace he could muster, whispering apologies and words of comfort. The brothers clung to him, their earlier fear and confusion melting away into the solace of their father's love. In that moment, none of them noticed the faint light twinkling in the distance. It was the moon, peeking shyly through the canopy, casting long, dancing shadows on the forest floor. As the minutes ticked by, the light grew brighter, pushing away the darkness and revealing a path. And that path led them all back home. The warm glow of their hearth fire welcomed them, chasing away the lingering chill of the night. Robert held his sons close, his heart swelling with love and gratitude. He realized the depth of their bond, how love and ingenuity could conquer even the darkest of trials. The betrayal they had faced that night had only served to strengthen their connection, making their unity unbreakable. And as the days turned into weeks, life returned to its familiar rhythm in their little cottage. The incident with Evelyn became a distant, haunting memory. Arthur continued to excel in school, impressing everyone with his intelligence and quick thinking. Martin, always the strong one, took great pride in helping his father with the wood. His dedication and stamina earning him praise from everyone in the village. And Luke, with his infectious laughter and sunny disposition, remained the heart of their home, his cheerfulness a constant balm to his family's heart. Robert watched his boys with a heart brimming with love and admiration. He saw in them the embodiment of their mother's spirit, her kindness, her strength, and her radiant joy. And though the scars of their past remained, they served as reminders of their resilience, of how their love for one another had been their guiding light through the darkest of times.